Well, the On Center in downtown Syracuse is filling up fast this evening as the State Department of Transportation holds its first open house to discuss the future of Interstate 81.
Engineers say the aging viaduct that runs right alongside many communities in Syracuse needs to be replaced and chose the community grid option as its preferred option. But neighbors have concerns the work, the new road system could bring problems to their backyard. News Channel 9's Jennifer Sanders talked with some of the people who live in the shadow of I-81.
Every person in these homes and housing projects is living in the shadow of Interstate 81.
Everyone's really concerned, and mostly homeowners live on this block, and so a lot of the times the first question is, am I going to lose my home?
I spent the day with Lanessa Chaplin and Yusuf Abdul Kadir. He's the director of the Central New York chapter for New York Civil Liberties Union, and she's project counsel. Areas in and around Interstate 81 have been their office for the past several months. They've been canvassing neighborhoods, educating those who might be impacted the most by the reconstruction of Interstate 81.
Our only concern is, are the residents who live along the viaduct protected during the construction process and also protected after the construction process through development.
What's going to happen to those who will, irrespective to what technically the DOT says isn't a requirement to displace people, what is going to happen with respect to the construction debris and people's ability to live throughout that process?
That's a concern of one family we met along the way.
I don't know what's going to happen to what I have here. You know, I don't know if I have to move or whatever. You know, I don't know, so.
And that's where it leaves us, pretty much in that type of limbo.
In its current state, the highway is in the backyard of many of Syracuse's low-income residents. According to the CDC, living near a highway and being exposed to traffic pollution is linked to asthma, heart and lung disease, and childhood cancer.
Homes are right, their backyards are right against the highway.
So if you come here on a Saturday and the weather is permitting, you will see children in backyards playing this close to a highway. One parent told me there's been trash that's falling off of trucks through highways when their kids are literally playing in the backyard. And when I asked them, well, does your child have asthma? It's kind of like, yeah, well, how'd you know that? And it's kind of like, well, at this point, the assumption is always there because you're in such close proximity to a highway.
This video by the NYCLU details health concerns by people who live underneath 81.
I can't sit like in the yard because of the smog from 81. If I could just walk from street to street and not under the highway. I'll tell you, I can walk maybe about 8 steps and I'm out of breath. You wouldn't want to put your parents or your nephews or grandkids live in all that fuel and stuff like I'm doing.
City and state DOT leaders say it's their job to make sure they reach all communities. As of now, no residents will be permanently displaced and no communities will be demolished.
There's physically impacting properties for which we have 0 residential impacts, physically impacting them. During construction, that's a different discussion as to what those impacts are, whether that be noise or dust or equipment. There's some very sensitive areas through this whole corridor, not just in the south side, but downtown, in the north side, and we want to work with the community to protect the interests of those individuals and ensure that we can minimize impacts as much as possible.
And we have to be very intentional in how we move forward to ensure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. Land use is a critical part of this discussion. We've been looking, talking to the DOT about if the community grid option moves forward, acreage that will be freed up, that's valuable real estate. And we need to make sure that everyone in the community is benefiting from that opportunity, not just a select few.
That's why Chaplin and Abdul Kadir will continue their mission of ensuring a fair process and making sure everyone's voice is heard, so history doesn't repeat itself. In Syracuse, Jennifer Sanders, News Channel 9.
Yes, yes.
Now, tonight's open house will continue until 8 o'clock tonight at the On Center with a formal presentation by the DOT scheduled for 6 this evening.
News Channel 9 has been covering the future of 81 since the beginning. To read the DOT's report for yourself, head to localesquire.com, click on the News tab, then click on Future of I-81.